What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing? So this is Rolling Hills, what we have so far at least. And it's actually coming along pretty good. So I figured I would show you guys kind of what the progress is, and I know it's weird, but I was actually going to try to play a little bit today and just see. I haven't even played FS19 for more than like 15 minutes, so I kind of set some things up. I'm going to do some corn since I'm in Iowa and it's pretty much corn everywhere. Well, not right now, but so Rolling Hills it is. I know the other day when we were kind of messing around with the name, we couldn't come up with anything, but we finally got it. So, and I am so new that I don't even remember the controls half the time, because it's been a little while. Yes, Stone Valley, we got silos working. Congrats, by the way, bud. So the map is not 100% done, but it is pretty much. It's getting there. American farmers, I'd say probably about, I don't know, a couple days. We still got to do some testing. There's a couple of things I need to finish off. Borders, map borders, things like that. Just little details here and there. There's not a whole lot of decoration stuff going on yet. But, I mean, I've been working on this for 5-6 days now, and it's pretty much all the way done. So what we're going to do real quick, I'm actually going to harvest my way over to the other side. Dwayne, thanks. Minimap is kind of hard to see in this view. Wow. Let me get rid of these fruits. That's pretty much what the minimap looks like. These fields up here still need field boundaries, so that's going to be next on the list of things to do. It's a 1x, but it feels a lot bigger than a 1x when you're in it. Yeah, it does kind of look goofed up, but honestly, I don't know. I think a lot of stuff still kind of looks goofed up in this game. If I put duels on it, I'd have to drive all the way back to the shop. So I'm gonna take like a little stretch right through the map, or right through this field here, so we can get over to the other side. I think I'm far enough over here. Nope, not yet. I'm trying to accomplish two things: play a little bit, get used to the controls, and show you guys a little bit of the map. Big Bad Boogie, it's PC only right now. However, I will try to get it out on other consoles and stuff. Can't make any promises. And I'm actually gonna, yeah, that'll work right here. You know what? I'm not sure if this one does have duels. Have to check. How many of you guys have FS19? Or are waiting to get it? I'll check the shop in just a minute, man. I want to get over there. Actually, we can just go to the shop because it's on the other side of this field. Yeah, I agree, man. The maps definitely suck. That's why this is the first time I've even played. We're just going to cut straight through here. Hopefully I can make it to the other side. What do you guys think of it so far? It's hard to show you the map while I'm driving, but I'll show it again here in a minute. I just showed it. BHAM, I've been working on it for like 5 or 6 days. I don't know if we're gonna make it. We're getting close. John Deere, yeah, there's definitely some big fields in this map. And it looks way bigger than a 1X, even though it is only a 1X. Thanks, Ranfeld. What are you up to? Hey William, do you have it? Can't remember if you were one of the ones that said you do. There's some pretty decent potato equipment. I never use it. Ah, we almost made it there. That's alright. So I'm actually going to pull it over here and I'm going to get that tractor. We'll unload, but it'll give you guys a chance to see some of the map. You know, it actually runs pretty well. I think 19 runs better than 17 did. I only have a 970 and I have no problems running this. BHAM, I'm trying, man. I'm getting faster. So we're gonna go take this over to the other side and give you guys a chance to kind of see the map. Well, thank you and hello from America. I really just wanted to get you guys something that we could play on that would be somewhat realistic. Not like one of these farm sim maps. Trying to read comments and drive a big tractor, it's not a good idea. So you can kind of see the layout. You're in a little, I wouldn't call it a river valley, it's more like a little creek. Hello, Scout. Yeah, UMRV will definitely be coming. Just wanted to get something out a little sooner than that one. That one's going to take a little bit more work. What do you guys say? What's your word for suck? Now, I didn't want to take too much of the map to add like a city or a town or anything, so I kind of had to get a little creative with the store and the sale point. There's only going to be one of each on the map. So that's this area here, and it's not 100% done yet. I'll still add some more decorative stuff. Alright, crap works here too. We can use that one. Oh. But that's gonna make it, just barely. I will say, if you guys watched my other video talking about 19, kind of sounded like I was pretty underimpressed, and although I still kind of am, being able to play the game on a more realistic map, I've seen some things that I actually like better now. Like Lancashire just said, it's definitely got potential. It just needs to get there. But I think it's getting close. Christoph, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys. This field's big enough, I need a partner to follow me. I'm still not used to the steering in 19, it's a little goofy, but why are we not moving? There we go. Didn't want to move. I was holding the gas down, but it wasn't going nowhere. Yeah, movie guy, I definitely agree. It just gets frustrating that they don't progress more than they should, in my opinion, each time they come out with a new one. But I think you guys that don't have it will be pleasantly surprised with the graphics. The physics are a little better. I notice you're still driving like you're on ice when you're going fast, but when you're hauling things, you actually feel like it. You know, your trailer kind of acts like it's heavy. Um, the tractors and the combines, they just have more movement. Just definitely look more real. And then obviously like the depth of field, the camera views, it just everything looks more 3D in 19. Grantfield Cody would like that too much. I can't be that nice to him. He's got to wait. Yeah, definitely the bogging down and stuff like that. I mean, your truck, like your semi, you know, if you've got it loaded full, you know, a trailer full, it actually acts like it's full. It kind of, it's harder to go up hills, things like that. Stuff that 17 was lacking. 19 definitely has improved in that area as well, for sure. The dynamic sky, much nicer. The clouds actually move across the sky. It's still got some things that need to be touched up though, for sure. Beham, I'm gonna go up there in just a second. I'll show you guys. There's actually 3 farms on this map. There might be 4 when I'm done with it. I'm not really a big fan of the placeables that they did in 19. I mean, I get the point, but I'm not a real big fan. So I didn't put them on for the farms that I'll probably use, but I might make a 4th farm that's just placeables. So you guys that do enjoy the placeables can kind of do your thing. I usually don't use a controller, so that's why I have to keep looking. I have a G27, but I don't have it hooked up right now. Oh man, I definitely need a follower here. I'm not going to bring my semi all the way over here. Andrew, I'm actually going to be releasing a tutorial video on that kind of stuff here in real soon, but it's pretty simple. It's kind of hard to explain right now without showing you, but it's actually pretty simple. I'm not really doing this in the most organized fashion either, so I'm just going to try to get enough grain we can fill up the semi-trailer over there and show you guys the 2 different silos that you can use that are set up so far. I usually try to play the game pretty realistically, but I'm not going to make you guys sit around and wait. So, kind of the realisticness is taking a back seat today. Yeah, I agree. Definitely G will be the better option. Absolutely. You can just do so much more with farms that way. What's up, James? Alright, so let's get some more here. What's up, Diesel? Oh man, I gotta get used to these controls. Yeah, Diesel, it's actually a 1X, but it definitely feels bigger. So maybe Giants could take some notes, because yeah, I agree, it looks bigger. But that's what happens when you don't have cliffs and a bunch of weird stuff in the map. I'd gladly make them one if they'd let me. Diesel, it's all good, man. I mean, that's what I was going for. I wanted to make it look as big or feel as big as possible. I think one of the things that the Giants maps always kind of do is they make you feel claustrophobic. They're like really tight packed. And I mean, most of the farmland, at least in North America, is not like that. Wide open spaces. Not everywhere, but what I'm used to, it definitely is. Yep, I've been working on this one for like 5 or 6 days. Just trying to get a 1X out to everybody so we can actually enjoy the 19 on a realistic map. Bruce, thanks. Ranfield, yeah, it's definitely true. There's no town taking up the space in the map. Countless, yeah, I agree. Not a whole lot of farmland right next to beaches. Daniel, not much. There's a couple changes you guys will notice, but not a whole lot. It's another reason I wanted to get a 1X out to you guys, give you something to enjoy while you're waiting for UMRV, because I don't want to release UMRV until there's some more features that we get figured out. So, and that's part of that's because of 19 switching over. There's just you have to do things differently. Ooh, man, I was too busy reading. I'm running over my corn. Brad, I'd definitely be willing to look at them if you want to send them my way. Can't drive today. Diesel, yeah, I'm the creator of UMRV. Countless on 19. The animals are still undetermined. I don't know what we're gonna do yet. As you just pointed out, there's not a whole lot we can do with animals so far. So I'm working on it, trying to figure out something else. But if I have to, and we have to just kind of release the placeable version first, and then work on another version, that's fine. Still working on the Colorado map too. It's a little more tricky. That's kind of my baby. That's the map I started on. It's never been released. That thing has actually never left my computer. It's always been in my possession. I'm the only one that's ever touched it, and so I want it to be perfect before it gets out there. Oops. I guess one of the good things about me is I like to release all my stuff to the public. Bad thing about me is I don't like to release it until it meets my standards, I guess. So I'll always be willing to share with you guys, but you just have to be willing to be patient enough to wait for me to get it done, I guess. Yeah, Diesel, I've only played about 15 minutes. I've played longer right now with you guys than I've played this game at all. That's why I don't even know the controls or anything right now. I've spent my entire time basically with 19 working on this map because I just cannot play on their maps. I gotta have something better. Gunslingers, thanks, man. So once I get this grain cart filled up, I'll take it over to the semi and we'll go do a silo run, even though we're not full yet, so you guys can kind of see everything. Thanks, Diesel. I appreciate that. It's got its problems, but when I first started that, I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. I just wanted to put something out there, and I've always been the terrain guy and the making a map realistic guy. But I'll be the first to admit that I have not always been the scripting guy and all that kind of stuff. So that's where I lack. And UMRV, I didn't quite have those skills honed yet. Yeah, Daniel, I agree, man. But I'm telling you, just being in this map, in the state it's in right now, it's not even finished. But completely different feel. When I was in the Giants maps, I was like, oh, not again. They did it to us again. And now that I'm in something that looks a little more realistic, it's a whole different feel to the game. So I think once you get a realistic map, you'll enjoy it. Dwayne, yeah, 1x is roughly, you know, like a 1x would be the size that the stock maps are in. I think if I have this correct, it'd be like 1.4 miles or 2 kilometers, and then a 4x would be just under 3 miles square. So it's about twice the size. Usually, in my opinion, 1x's usually kind of feel too small, but if they're done right, they can feel bigger. Alrighty, we got that thing filled up. They do have a 16x, although I could not even begin to imagine working on a 16x and putting the amount of detail that like UMRV had terrain-wise. I mean, 16x almost has to be a, you know, like a flat map that doesn't have a whole lot going on with it. So you can kind of see a little bit about this, or a little of this farm. This actually isn't the starting farm, but I kind of like it more, so that's why I'm over here. So we'll go park this out of the way. I'll show you guys the rest of the map. I swear, once you get used to the steering wheel in this game, it's hard to play it without one. There's actually usually water down there, but I accidentally deleted it right before I got in here when I was messing with the map, and I got to put it back. So the creek looks a little weird dry. So the fields up here are a little more flat, bigger, more square. This is actually the starting farm up here. Andrew, I can show you that here in a little bit if you want to stay on. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to go ahead and pass the farm and I'll turn around on here. I haven't decided if I'm going to shrink these ditches a little bit. They are pretty wide, however, it makes it easier for the AI helpers to turn around, so I don't know. I haven't quite made my mind up on that yet. Definitely some big fields. We're going to turn around here. That's the edge of the map. Well, we're going to attempt to turn around here. I always try to keep everybody in mind when I'm making these maps and give you a little bit of different terrain on the map. So this was more the flat area with the easier fields, and then the far side of the map over this way, you have some smaller fields but much more curved, and little waterways and whatnot. So this is one of our silos that you can use. It's pretty tight to get into though. Still got to do a little bit of groundwork on the road. So as you can see, we can dump, and we can also fill. And for those of you that like big, open, expansive farmyards, I am not the map maker for you. I like to make them kind of not impossible to get around, but you got to use some skill to get through them. More realistic. So that's farm 1. I don't know why every light on the back of this trailer lights up when you hit the brakes. It's kind of goofy. This little lot here of trees, you can technically buy it. It would be for the like somebody that really wanted to mess around with trees, because they're not pine trees, so you wouldn't be able to use like a buncher or anything on them, but you can cut them and you can sell them, but they'd be pretty difficult. And again, there's usually water down there, but I accidentally deleted it right before I got in here, so we're in a drought right now. So this would be farm 2, I guess you could call it. A lot smaller, just one building for equipment. I'll show you guys the inside of this here in a second. It's only one building, but it's plenty big. You got a small shop back here. And then if you really wanted to, you can store stuff up here too. I forgot that this semi does not like to make turns on hills. So on this side of the map, you got smaller fields, more curved, a lot more waterways. And I don't have the field boundaries done over here, so all you're going to see is like little squares of growing stuff in the middle of them, but I owe the county a yield sign. No, Daniel, the triggers aren't done for those yet. And that's another edge. And the majority of these waterways are pretty gradual. I mean, you can easily drive a tractor through them in the fields. So if you wanted to you know, plow over them, that kind of stuff, you can. Kind of show you here. No, I'm definitely working on the triggers for the doors and lights. It's my plan to have them in. No, Ranfield, there'll be little drives, field drives for them. So if you can see, we're up there on the top left. Don't pay attention to those sail points because they're not in the right spot right now. But you can see there's a little bit smaller fields up here. More waterways. And now the ditches, on the other hand, they are definitely ditches. So I'm not even going to attempt that in this semi. We're going to go back over here, because these fields don't have driveways yet. So this will bring us back out there to the shop and the co-op. I don't know if this semi is going to make this one. We'll see. So they'll have horses down here. I figure they're in 19. We may as well give them a home. Don't suggest bringing a semi down here. Ludwig, still a couple more days probably. I've gotten pretty far in 5 or 6 days, but need a couple more days to finish some things off, and then we're going to test it for a little bit, make sure it's working. But the whole idea of this map was to put something together really quickly to get something out so people could actually play 19 on a realistic map, not have to worry about using the stock US map. So the goal is to get it out quick. This is the shop. This is where all your equipment will load up when you buy it. You got a sell point here for grain. As you can see, that works. But I'm actually going to hold on to some of this corn because I'm going to dump it in our silo at the other farm. Thanks, Ludwig. It's really nothing special. I mean, it's just a little 1x, but I've got some other maps in the works that will be a little more, I don't know, detailed, have some more interesting features to them. But this was just a quick project. It's funny, you actually have to use brakes now. These trucks don't like to slow down like they did in 17. Thanks, bud. So that brings us back to the starting point. I'll go ahead and drive back in there and show you guys this other silo and some of the buildings up there. This is actually the first time I've used this semi. I usually use the one without the lift axle there, but this thing does not like to turn like the other one does. And they give us a lift axle, but it doesn't even work. It's kind of goofy. So we got a couple buildings up here. I might even be adding another one as well up here. I haven't decided yet. We've got cows down here, but unfortunately with the way that 19 works their cows, it's going to be more decorative than anything for now. Again, it's missing water, but it looks pretty good with the water in. Ludwig, these buildings will always be here. These aren't placeables. But I'm thinking about putting another farm on the other side of the map that would be set up just for placeables. I'm not a big fan of the placeable system that they put in, But I know some people are going to want to use it, so I thought about putting something in over on that side. So that's pretty much it for now. Still got a little bit of work to do to it. I'm gonna get a little bit more corn here. If there's anything else you guys want to see, or feel free to ask questions. Some of those 19 birds that just fly straight into the sky. Diesel, thanks, man. We'll test out the AI for a little bit. Yeah, Ludwig, the 1X is a normal map. Is it gonna reach? Just barely. Right now it goes back to the shop. See what the AI does here. I'm not entirely convinced that the AI are better in 19 yet. We're still up for debate. For any of you guys that played 17, you know the AI can be a little difficult sometimes. Are you just gonna keep going straight? Yep, you're just gonna keep going straight. Wow. I guess I didn't make that big enough. But hopefully you don't fall off the edge of the map over there, buddy. Guess we're gonna have to see how he makes this turn. Awesome, Andrew. Thanks, man. And thanks for the tutorial. I want to go see how he makes this turn down here. We even have animated feet in 19. Giants is moving up in the world. I thought about making this a pasture as well. I'm probably going to make this a grass field so you can fertilize it and everything over on this side and mow it. What's up, Mason? Well, he didn't hit the telephone pole, so that's a plus. Yeah, just a little bit. See if I can keep up with it. No, Mason, that's just the AI. Andrew, awesome. Yeah, I'm working on a Forex as well, in addition to UMRV. I've made pretty good progress. The train and everything's pretty much done, but I haven't even begun to put in, you know, any of the objects or anything, so that one's going to be a little ways out still. I'll get UMRV released before I start working too hard on that one. I gotta go catch this guy before he runs over there. See you later, Renfield. Shit, that's what we're waiting. If I can get stopped here. So each one of these is purchasable, with the exception of some of the areas that aren't or shouldn't be owned. Here's those trees I was talking about. There are a couple tree areas that you can, I mean, if you really wanted to, I guess you could cut all those trees down and plow it up. I've reset all the values, all the prices to match Midwestern prices per acre. So I think the average that I found was like 7,600, something like that. I'll show you here in a little bit. Let me get this grain cart full real quick, and then I'll jump into Giants Editor and I'll show you and who else is wanting to know. There's another guy wanting to know. I'll show you guys the deer real quick. Oh yeah. Sorry, Andrew. Hey, at least I didn't forget about you. Whoa there. See, now that's your goofy AI. You start at that other farm. It's behind some trees over there right now, but the far one over there, that's the starting farm. It's basically this one here, and then this is where we're at, right next to that farm. And then there's a third little one right here, but there'll probably be another one up in here that'll be placeables. So depending on what I do, if I make this the placeable farm, I might have the starting farm up here, just because the fields are smaller. You'll be able to buy them when you don't have any money, and then you can kind of work your way up into these bigger fields. Andrew, do you have 8.1, or are you still using 8 for GE? Okay. I was going to tell you to download it real quick if you didn't. Yeah, Andrew, I know exactly what's going on. It's a pain in the butt. But I'll see if I can walk you through it here in a minute. How do you like the new Giants editor? Uh-oh, forgot to stop him. I'll turn him around, send him back the other way, and then I'm going to drive the tractor really quickly kind of around the other side again for those that haven't seen it, that just kind of got in here. And then I'm going to jump into GE and show these guys how to do buyable land. So anybody that's curious, if you want to hang on for a couple minutes, you can learn something too. Yeah, Eric, I agree, although I guess part of me likes it, part of me doesn't, because I've noticed in GE the shadows are a lot darker, and so when you're trying to work in an area that doesn't have a whole lot of light, it can actually make it a lot harder to see. But it is nice to kind of be able to see the more of like how it's going to look in game while you're in Giants Editor. Trevor, I know, man. It's driving me nuts. I thought when 8.1 came out, I was excited. I'm like, finally, they're gonna give us a way to blend these better, but nope, sure didn't. So for those of you that haven't been around when I did the tour, there's the shop. That's where all your equipment will go. Here's your sell point. This is a very basic 1X. I'm not going too full out on this because I'm trying to get it done real quick for everybody. There's some horses down there. I just wanted to get something out for everybody to enjoy while I'm working on the more important maps that I'll put some more work into. Those are kind of my pride and joys. This one's just something I threw together real quick. There will be field approaches. There isn't right now, but I always like to get in the map and play around a little bit on it before I put those in, just so I can kind of see where I would put them. I always get in the map because in Giants, when you're in the editor, you don't get a good feel for, you know, how it's gonna look completely until you're actually in the game. See if we can beat the combine back over here. Nope. Well, hey, at least he didn't do one of those goofy turns. Oops, still got some in there. Alright, before I get out of the map, anything anyone wants to see real quick, or any questions about the map? And then I'm going to jump into the editor, but I'm going to close down the map when I do that. So anything you guys want to see, let me know real quick, and we'll go check it out. Wait, it'll be out in a couple days on my Facebook page. I release all my stuff on my Facebook page. That should be down in the description below. Ludwig, I'm going to be doing some tutorials on how I get my train to work. Kind of give you some tips or pointers on how I do it. Not saying it's the right way or the best way, but it's how I do it. Frijole, it's going to be a couple days. So right now you've got, I only have corn and soybeans turned on right now, but you'll have every crop available. Your starting farm's over here for now. It might actually end up being over here before it gets released. But so far you've got 3 farms, and then possibly a 4th up in this area. And then these, you know, kind of smaller, a little bit more curved with waterways. You got some big giant fields down here, and then you got some pretty easy square ones up here, but they're big. I'll cruise over to this other farm to show you that real quick, and then I'm going to jump into Giants. I'll take the shortcut. That combine was from ModHub, I believe. How's it going, Anders? Long time no talk. I got a floating car up there. Frijole, I completely feel your pain, man. That's why I'm putting this 1X together really fast for you guys, so we have something North American to play on that's actually a North American map, not a weird Giants version of one. So this right now, this is the starting farm, but it may change to the farm on the other side of the map. Good, man. How are you? How's life been treating you? So I'll run over here real quick. This other one, and should give everybody a chance to see it. Kyle, absolutely. I am looking at doing some videos. Actually, my plan, I've got a map made up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a downloadable, starter map, and basically it's going to have all the files that you need, and then I'm going to have a tutorial series that kind of walks you through step by step. It'll be several videos, obviously, but it'll kind of walk you through how to make a map. I can do one on the on a conversion, kind of show you how to do that as well too. But my passion's kind of in making new maps, not necessarily converting them. But if you got one that you really like from 17 and want to bring it over, I get it. So here's that other side with the smaller fields. Thanks, Farmer Klein. I'm pretty pleased with it. I mean, for 5 or 6 days worth of work, it came together pretty good. So Just think 6 days ago this thing was a flat square with nothing on it. I'm going to cruise around the other side of this creek and then we should be good. Farmer, no, I actually accidentally erased the water plane like 10 minutes before I started streaming, so I forgot to put it back in there. But it's a low creek. I mean, it's definitely not a river by any means. You can kind of see where the grass stops. It's just a little winding creek. So that's Rolling Hills so far. Like I said, a couple days left to do some of the finishing touches, and then probably a couple days to test, get any of the major bugs worked out, and then I'll have it available on my Facebook page. Let's see if I can get through here. I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze. We'll try. Yikes. Need to smooth that out a little bit. I have a feeling this is going to end very badly for me. Oh, I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Thanks, Anders. Appreciate that, man. I'm gonna ruin a bunch of corn and get this thing back over there. Alrighty, so that's the map. I'm going to jump into Giants now. You guys are more than welcome to watch. But if you came to see the map, that is it. Give me just a second to get Giants set up here. actually going to do is probably load up my 4X. I don't want to mess with the viable land too much on this map. Trevor, yeah, I'll show you here when it loads. This actually isn't the 4X. I'm waiting for the 4X to load, but yeah, 4X's definitely work. You just got to be kind of careful and make sure you set everything up right. All right, you guys still with me that wanted to see how to paint the viable land? Hopefully they're still here. Alright, sweet, man. Let me see if that 4X loaded up. Is that showing up with like a black thing around it on yours? Let me get rid of this. Okay. So this is the 4X that I'm working on, and it's very, very early. And UMRV will come before this, so this is still several months out. But another kind of rolling hills. Got a little river valley going through here. Little winding creek coming up this way. And then there'll be some farms up in here. Like I said, really, really early though. At this point I'm just kind of playing around with this to kind of learn 19 and then go over to the other ones. But UMRV will be first, so don't worry, I'm not going to put a whole lot of time into this one until UMRV's out. And then I'm planning on that'll all be a wooded area. It might shrink a little bit, it might not go that far. But this will all be logging back in here. Big reservoir. Okay, so Andrew, I'll show you how to do this real quick. So obviously you want to click on the blue pen. Turn on your farmland. Now, if you notice, you should have 63 numbers here in your drop down. If these aren't showing up, then it's a problem. So make sure that those are showing up. I had a map, an earlier version of the 1X where these numbers disappeared and I was having problems painting. So make sure that you've got all these numbers. The cool thing though, you said you had the little code layer thing. Let me show you something. 1 is going to be your farm. 63 is going to be the areas that you don't want anybody to own. So make sure you keep those two saved. Other than that, you can use any of them. But when you select 1, it actually goes ahead and fills this in for you. If you look at your little chart that you talked about, 1 should be 0, 2 should be 1, 3 should be 0, 1, 4 should be 2. So this will actually select the right channels here for whatever you need. Now, the problem with this though is, when I first started, I saw that and I thought, okay, cool. So it's going to do it for me, and then I started painting. Doesn't work. So what you actually have to do is select them. Make sure that you're selecting them. So like if I want 1, this is just basically kind of like a guide. It shows me I need to hit 0. Go ahead and hit something and go back to 0. You'll see this changes back. So see how it changed back to 1? Now when I paint this in, I want to go to 2, so let's go back to that ID. 2 is 1, so I'm going to click 1, get rid of the 0, and then bring my mouse over, and that's going to give me a separate color. So I'll paint that in. Now I want to do 3, so that's 0, 1. So I'm going to actually click off of the 1 just to kind of reset it. Click 0, 1, and now it's going to give me a third color, which is actually going to be white, apparently. So that's not good, because we're not going to be able to see it. So then 4 would be 2. Yeah, that one didn't work. Let's see if this one does. It's really finicky. Sometimes it's kind of tricky, but basically what I've learned is you got to kind of trick it over here by doing the right checking, but making sure you're actually checking them. And then once you go to the next one, like 5 is 0, 2, make sure you bring your mouse back over here, and that's going to change the color. Hopefully that makes sense. I know I explained it really fast. Like let's go with 6, that's going to be 12, or 1, 2, sorry. So I'm going to get rid of the 0. Seven would be 0, 1, 2. So as you can see, they're all changing colors. And basically I have, excluding technically 0, 1, and 63, the rest of those numbers I can use. So you can paint quite a few fields, or properties, whatever you want to call it, farmlands. So I'm going to go to 8, which would be 3, so I'm going to get rid of these, go to 3, and sometimes they're really close in color, but you can see they're still different. The other thing I'll point out, Andrew, if you don't already know this, make sure that every single pixel is painted in. So like let's say I wanted to go with 8 is going to be 3. I don't remember if that I already painted 8. Yeah, I think I already did. So let's go with 9 is 0, 3. So let's say I'm painting in this new one and I skip some things here and these pixels weren't already colored. It's going to show you a warning in the log when you start your map up. It's going to say, warning, not every pixel is covered in the farmlands XML or whatever, that layer. So to fix that, just make sure you're actually hitting every single one of those pixels. You got to be kind of really careful if you're going through like an area that you want precise. But other than that, it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. It took me a while to do that because I was using this as a cheat, and I was like, oh, okay, 1, cool. And then I'd go to 2, and it was the same color, and then I'd go to, you know, it's all the same. And I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't working. So make sure you actually select them down there. Also, Andrew, I'll show you this real quick. Let's say I made a mistake, and this big orange blob, let's say I wanted it to be like 21, which is 0, 2, 4. I can actually click 0, 2, and 4, and then Control R as I'm hovering over that area, and then just set it to something else, and it'll actually change this one to that color. It should. I don't think it worked though there. What did I say it was? 0, 2, 4. Which is showing up 29 on here. It shows 24 on that. 0, 2, 3, 4. Zero, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't know. It's not working now, but it should work. I'm probably missing a step there. I don't typically use it, but it's supposed to reset that color to whatever channel you're selecting over here. And maybe you have to select it first and then click it, or click it and then select it. I don't remember which. Any other questions about the paint, Andrew? Kyle, I'll show you this real quick too. Let me get the screen on it real quick. So Kyle, you asked how do you set the price? So you find your Farmlands XML, which it might not have the map DE in front of it, might be something else depending on what map you're using. But what you're looking for is the Farmlands XML. You come in here at the very top, it's going to show this number here. By default they have it set to 60,000 per 60,000 per hectare. So basically that's a lot of money and it's way more expensive than it would be in real life. So I looked it up, and in my area the going price per acre is 7,600. So a hectare is like 2, I can't remember the figure, you can Google it, but it's like basically it's 2 and something acres. So I did the math and then I put the right number here. So basically whatever number you want it to be, just change this value here and then save it, and it'll change your prices. I could go a lot further in this, but I'm not going to right now. I'll do it in a video later so that it makes sense. But there's other things you can change in here. You can change you know, what, let's say, you know, the 6 on your farm is something that you want a certain civ or a certain NPC character to own. You can actually change those as well. And then you can also change different prices in here. So this default is 60,000, but this farm right here is going to be half that price. It's going to be going for half of the sale. This will be going for, you know, 60%. This will be going for 30. So you can kind of change them in there as well if you wanted to change this value. And then Andrew, also, I'm sure you already know this, but obviously you have to have the same matching number in here in your Farmland XML. So if you're only using like 2, you can either delete these or just you know, X them out basically. So just make sure you have the matching number, otherwise it'll throw an error and sometimes it won't work. No problem, Kyle. Alrighty, any other questions? Might as well answer some more while I'm in here. If I can help, I'm always willing to. I gotta add my water plane back in here that I deleted before I forget about it. I don't know if Farmer Klein's still in here, but he was asking about the creek. That's what it actually looks like. There's little spots that are dry over here. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I'm probably going to jump off here, but thank you guys for checking it out. Anders, I'm working on it. I think I might have found a solution to it. Not a whole lot of information out there right now on how to do it. If someone has figured it out and they happen to know, by all means, I would love to know the solution if you've got one. I can get them working in a placeable building just fine, but I can't get them working in the map. So yeah, if anybody's got a pointer on that, I would love to hear it. But yeah, Anders, I'm definitely working on it. Doors and lights are a huge thing for me. I know a lot of people don't even care, but to me it kind of breaks the whole map if you don't have a door that opens. So I'm not sure what Giant's plans were on it, but if you actually go to their stock map and look at it, they don't have really any door. Like even the farmhouse, if you look at it in GE, it's all one object. It's solid. So they were never planning, or at least when they released it, they weren't planning on having those doors work, even on the farmhouse. So I don't think they were really planning on having opening doors, but that doesn't mean that it's not doable. They kind of went backwards, in my opinion, on that. You know, we had to wait until 17 to finally get working doors and whatnot, and now we're going backwards. But yeah, any of you that are you know, wanting to learn how to make maps, look ahead, I guess. Just keep watching the YouTube channel. I'm going to be putting those tutorials out, and that little map that you guys can download, and all the files will be in it, so you'll have everything you need. And then there'll be some videos that'll kind of walk you through it. So definitely, if you want some pointers on that. Misfit, yeah, in XML, do moving doors reference and index. They do in the placeables. They have to be indexed. I've already tried that on the map. It doesn't do anything. I've basically tried to replicate exactly how we're doing it on placeable buildings. on the map, and I've hit a roadblock, but I think I might have found something that's going to work. I'm not sure yet, but if it does, then I will gladly share it with everybody. My only other option, if we can't get them working, is to basically make all these custom buildings. I'm gonna have to make them placeables and then preload them, you know, on the map, just like Giants has done with all the other stuff. So in 17, for those of you that don't know, in 17, like triggers, you know, for silos and things like that, they're pretty simple. You just basically copy and pasted them, and they worked. And 19, everything works way different. So you have to change the XML files. So they made it a little more complicated. So if I have to make these all placeables and preload them, like just have them already spawned here, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it might even be good for some people because they could actually just sell them if they don't like them. But I'm just not a big fan on how the placeables work, because it kind of screws up your terrain. So if you've got, you know, say you've got a farm like this one, it's going to be pretty hard to get that placeable to sit like that on that terrain. And even if it does, then when you put a new placeable on there, it's going to screw the terrain all up. So I don't know. I haven't quite decided how I want to do that yet. Frijole, I'm not going to touch the textures on this 1X, at least not for the first release. I'm not too disappointed in the textures. They're actually not too bad. There's a couple of them that definitely could be improved, but I'm not going to mess with them on this map. I will definitely mess with them on the other maps, just because I like them to look different. But it's not really any more complicated, I should say, than on the other ones. There's a couple things different, but for the most part, the way that we do maps in 19 isn't a whole lot different than in 19, or than in 17. Yeah, TJ, I know, and that's what I mean, is that they're placeables, and that's the difference. It's a whole different system when you put a building in the map like this, when it's already here to get the doors to work. When you have a placeable, it's basically, it sees it as a mod, and so you have to do some scripting and XML work to get it to show up there, instead of just putting it here in the editor. It's really hard to explain, but basically the ones that are out there that have moving doors right now, that are on all the mod sites, those won't work on a map from this point. They'll work if you load them in once you're in the game, but they won't work if you try to install them right here. Yeah, alfalfa would be nice, but that's a lot of work for this 1X. Like I said, I'm just trying to get this map out to everybody. I'm not putting a whole lot of time into the 1X, so it definitely won't be worth doing any of those types of things on this one. Misfit. Yeah, I've heard that from some of my buddies that, you know, do cars and tractors and stuff. Um, the weird thing is the script, or not the script, but the XML that's making the doors work on the placeables, it references the index and it works perfect. So I don't know. It's going to take some more digging around. I'm sure eventually, you know, either me or somebody else, probably somebody else, will figure it out, but it just might take some time. It's one of those growing pains, you know, just like 17. We went through them there too. Everybody was freaking out. I was one of them about all these changes, and I'll be honest, this game is growing on me quickly, especially with a more realistic map to play on. It changes the whole thing for me. So I'm enjoying 19 a lot more than I thought I was going to. Let's put it that way. Andrews, as always, man, I appreciate it. I enjoy doing it, so you don't gotta thank me, but I'm definitely planning on being a little more active in 19 than I was in 17. So hopefully you guys will see a little bit more of me, some more maps. Freehold, yeah, I agree. GPS is a huge thing. We need that back. And Seasons is probably the most, you know, game-changing mod that 17, or really that Farm Sim, really ever saw. So I'm excited to see it. I hope that Giants didn't skimp on it like they do with some of their other things. I hope they gave, you know, Realsimus some actual control of it, and let those guys, or at least the one guy that got hired by them, to do some magic. Farming realistic. This 1X right here so far is PC only. I'm actually going to try to get this 1X on, you know, cross-platform, whatever, if I can. But UMRV and maps like that, you're probably never ever going to see in like PlayStation or Xbox. It's way too much work. And for a guy that does this, you know, in his spare time, I've got a full-time job, I've got a family to worry about. I just don't have the time to do it. If someone else wanted to try to get it on there, I wouldn't have an issue with it, but it's just, I don't have the time to do it. But this 1X, it's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot to it, so it would be a lot easier to get it. American Farmers, yeah, that's what I was talking about. I know it's coming. The people that created Seasons for 17, I may have this wrong, but what I've heard from the community and from, you know, various people is that one of the members of Realsimus, which is the group of modders that created Seasons, went and got hired by Giants last year, and everybody was all excited because we all knew, okay, that means Seasons will come out with 19 on release. That's what we were all thinking. And then we got 19 and we realized, nope, it didn't come with 19. So we figured it was going to happen, but I'm just hoping that they gave the modder that you know, is good at what he does, they gave him kind of the leeway to make it what it should be, and they didn't try to control it and dumb it down. I'd love to see soil mod. I'd love to see, you know, like Seasons encompass all the different aspects, you know, not just changing the weather, but also, you know, affecting soil and plant growth and all sorts of stuff. I think it'd be cool. Kyle, I would not be surprised. There are some files in the game, in the core files. If you look, there's some files in there for paid DLCs already. So I would not be surprised if it's a DLC. I hope it's not, but it could be. Part of me almost thinks that the reason that they kind of dumbed 19 down, because let's be honest, there are a lot of things that they did in 19 that they kind of took away some of the aspects of what they had in 17, and I'm almost wondering if they didn't do that on purpose so that they could release some updates as paid DLCs. Basically, seems like in the video game world that's what everybody does now. They, instead of releasing an update that should have been free, they just give it to you in a paid DLC. Personally, do I think it's worth $2.99? Maybe. I don't know. I have mixed thoughts on that, but I don't think Giants should already be charging little bits and pieces for things that they gave, other people, but it's their choice, I guess. I just hope that that's not like a sign of things to come. All of a sudden we're gonna have 1,000,000 $2.99 mods out there. I'll show you the map here. You've got a wide mixture. You've got some really big fields down in this area, and then you've got some small, smaller with little field ditches or waterways in them up on the north side. So kind of a mixture of everything. This is a more flat part of the map over here and more square, and then this is more hilly and round. Yeah, farming, I agree, man. I don't even know what I'm doing. Too busy reading comments. I'm driving like a madman. Anders, you're not the first one that said that. That's funny. One of my buddies told me the other day, they're like, it's like a little mini UMRV. I'm like, yeah, I guess it kind of is. What's wrong with the wheel loader? You can't get the arm to go up? I don't use it very often. I'll go buy it and check it out. Farming, I would love for it to be on console, man. I really would, but there's no way. there's so many issues that that map would never run on console. It would take months, probably a full-time job just to get that thing to work on consoles. The other issue is, I mean, there's a lot of objects, there's a lot of things on that map that in order to add the details that I had to put in, so I don't think it would work very well on a console. And then you've got, you know, there's buildings or, you know, logos, signs, all sorts of stuff in that map that I don't think they would allow. I'll go buy it at the end of this row, American, and I'll see if it does it to me. I don't think I've ever used it. Yeah, there's definitely some copyright stuff they got through on a couple different maps, but doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, that they all will get through. So I don't know. I don't think it would pass the test. Let's just put it that way. And like I said, even if it did, it would be so much work. It really would. Chasey, they do and they don't. It depends. There's a really simple solution to get most of the textures fixed if they didn't come over or if they didn't work right. The major problem is that GE8 will not import textures into GE8 right now. It's broken. So, you know, if you're familiar with importing buildings from like a 17 map to another 17 map, you can't do that from an 18 map to an 19 map to a 19 map. You can, but there's a lot of extra steps that you have to do because the program's broken. Hayden, the John Deere is released as a mod already. Alright, let me try this wheel loader here that you were talking about. My thoughts on the 3 crappy sheds is I think it was a very poor choice for them to do it. Like I said, I am not a big fan of the placeables at all. I get the point of it because, you know, now you can kind of customize your own farm, and for a console player, yeah, it's a great idea because it makes it easier for consoles, but, you know, PC, not so much. So yeah, man, it's working on mine. I think the placeables also are just so poorly done. I mean, I don't know how many people I've heard say, you know, why? Like, why did you give us? Where's the barn at? Maybe it's not in. Oh, it's in decorations. Nope. But either way, the one that comes in the stock map, the red barn, it's like you can't even use it. So what's the point? Like, it doesn't even do anything. There's no doors. There's no interior. And part of me also maybe wonders if Giants had planned on making them functional at one point, because if you go into the editor on the stock map and you kind of move around the buildings, if you actually go inside, there's a couple buildings where it has an interior with door handles and everything, and I don't see why they would waste their time putting the effort into making the interior of a building unless they were planning on that building being enterable at some point. So some of the buildings don't, like the red barn, there's nothing inside, but some of the buildings actually have interiors. So who knows, maybe that'll be a paid DLC later too. The silos too, I don't know, not a big fan. At least they made them a little more North American looking, but I just don't like the placeable idea. I really don't. It's nice to have the customization to be able to make your own farm, but the only maps that they're really going to work well on are flat maps. So, you know, basically as a map maker, we have to put like a big flat area at every single farm, and that just, to me, that ruins the detail. That ruins kind of the look of those farms. But I'm sure there'll be some good maps that come out that, you know, take advantage of it, and it's just not my style, so I probably won't do a whole lot with them. DLC 19. Yep. Farm Sim 19 is the best update to Farm Sim 17 we've gotten so far. No, it really is quite a bit more. But hopefully they do more with the other stuff. Hopefully they give us seasons. Hopefully they give us, you know, some way to get doors working, lights working. Homies Rock 12, thank you, man. Farming, yeah, it's really rushed, dude. You should, if you haven't, check out the stock map in GE and just go through the scenograph in Giants Editor and look at how many areas they have in the actual map that say, like, you know, I can't remember the exact wording, but it basically says like unfinished. Like, there's entire transform groups that say, you know, still need to be worked on, things like that. So they didn't even either A, they didn't finish the map the way that they had hoped, or B, they got lazy and just decided not to care anymore. Hayden, yeah, definitely. That's why I'm putting this one out here, trying to get it done for you guys so that we have something realistic to play on. What I'm hoping is this will tide everybody over for a month or two. You know, at that point there'll be some other maps that will get released, I'm sure. You know, UMRV will definitely be out by then. I've got another 4X that I'm working on that'll hopefully be out by then. And my plan is to kind of, in 19, I'm planning on making things a little smaller. But what that's going to do is it's going to give me the opportunity to put more maps out. I won't be so, you know, it just won't be burned out when I'm sitting there on a 4X trying to make it detailed and everything. 1Xs are so much easier to work with, and I still want to get some 4Xs out, but I'll be putting out several 1Xs, you know, hopefully throughout the, you know, next coming years. That way you guys have something to change it up a little bit. Yeah, the Germany map is better by far than the American one, but yeah, they're, in my opinion, they're just garbage. I can't play on them. I literally can't. I've played more right now on this stream in 19 than I have, you know, at all on any of their maps. I think I played for maybe, that video I did that was like 15-20 minutes, and then I maybe got in there maybe 5 or 10 minutes other than that, just to try out some equipment and things. But I still have yet to plant a field and actually, you know, harvest it and everything in that game. I just cannot, or on their maps. I just can't get myself to do it. Those implements will be in the John Deere implement DLC. You can't tell me that John Deere, I mean, they're a business, you know, they didn't do this for free. So, you know, you know that they're gonna try to get some money from this as well. So I guarantee you they'll be, and so will Giants, having this big of a you know, farming manufacturer be in their game. I guarantee you they're planning on a DLC. In my opinion, I think it's too short. It's, you know, not only is it too short, but it's probably not really fair to us. I think if, you know, maybe updates at the 2-year mark or something like that. But if you're going to charge us, you know, for a new game, give us a new game. And, you know, 19 definitely has the graphics and some things that are better about it. Don't get me wrong. This is the closest to real life I've ever felt in a farm sim game, because the scenery is a little better. There are, you know, wild animals, or, well, birds that fly around. The sounds are better. You know, I mean, the 3D, I know I've said it before, but Farm Sim 17 and 15 always kind of felt flat to me. Like, no matter what you do, you're always, you don't really get a sense of like depth or how far away something is from you. And this is the first time where I feel personally that you can actually be in the tractor, like in the cab in this game, and it actually feels like you're in the cab. Everything kind of has distance to it, and that's new. So I mean, I'll give them credit where credit's due. They definitely have improved, but did they improve enough to, you know, call this a new map? I don't, or a new game? I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, they did say deer, but I'm thinking that was just kind of an inside joke for them for John Deere. Oh man, I hope that's not true, but I would not be surprised. I mean, it's pretty bad when they already have their first DLC like the day after they drop the game. Yeah, it's only a $2.99 DLC, but still. I really want to get my steering wheel hooked up to this game. I still haven't done that, and I am not used to using an Xbox controller for this game at all. I will say one of the other good things that I've liked so far is the physics are a little better. You know, like right now, pulling this grain trailer, it actually feels like I'm pulling something heavy. You know, it takes longer to brake, it takes longer to accelerate. You can even kind of see it in the truck, the way it hits bumps. It really feels like you're pulling something heavy. And then when it's empty, you feel like you're light again. That was something I never felt in 17 or 15. Yeah, I agree. I'd like, as a mapper myself, I would love them to give us some more time. You know, there was a lot of really cool things about to happen in 17 had they made that cycle a little longer. And now we're going to have to try to figure out how to do it in 19. Also, guys, I hate to sound like a YouTuber, but if you haven't liked the YouTube channel, please subscribe to it. It helps me get all this stuff out to you guys, and it's easier to communicate with everybody, and you know, share my releases and tutorials, things like that. So if you haven't, please do. I won't be too annoying. I try not to say it too often. But when I look at my videos, it's funny that the average viewer of my videos is actually a non-subscriber. And that's always kind of made me wonder why. The people that are subscribed are the ones not watching. So, if you like what I'm doing, please do me that favor. I'm trying to give you guys some better content too here in the future with the tutorials and whatnot. When those come out, you're going to be able to take a map. If you've never mapped before, you'll be able to take that map and basically start with a clean slate, and by the time you're done and you've watched the videos, you'll have a map of your own. And then maybe we'll have a bunch of maps out there in the farm sim community. So I know we've been talking about 19 and 17. Is there still anybody in here that hasn't even made the jump to 17 yet? I know there's still some people holding out with 15. I was on one of the mod sites the other night and saw that people are still releasing new things for 15 all the time. Also, for you 19 guys that have made it back or made it up to 19, what do you think the performance is like? You think it's better? I think on mine it actually runs a little better than 17 did. How'd you finally get it working? Yeah, but Kyle, they did that so we could just go on vacation that much easier, man. You get done with the cornfield and you go down to the beach. I think something that the older, users of this game overlook sometimes. I mean, I don't know how old you are, Kyle, but I know this is true for me. We get kind of frustrated because they don't focus on the realism. But to be fair to Giants, if you look at their demographics, like who they sell the game to, the average consumer of this game is like between 12 and 15. And I'm not saying that 12 and 15-year-olds don't want realistic games, but there's obviously far more, 12 and 15-year-olds that would be happier with a game that's maybe not as realistic. So I think, part of the reason they make their maps the way they do is to kind of appeal to that younger crowd. Because honestly, that's what makes them money. And you can't really fault them for being a business, but it makes it frustrating for us. Mr. Scout, did you guys get all that figured out on the other server? John, thanks, man. It'll be out in a couple days. So if you haven't liked my Facebook page, go like it. That's where I release everything too. It'll be in the top post on that page. Well, once again, guys, thank you for watching and checking out the map. It will be available in a couple days on Facebook. Like I said earlier, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I'm going to jump off for now, but I'll have all my updates on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, so you guys can kind of see what's going on and be looking for those tutorial videos and all that stuff. But for the rest of you, have a good day. I'll see you later.